Hi ladies, this is Tia. So I'm making this video for my car because I was out by my art studio under a beautiful shady tree, and then the neighbor started to do leaf blowing and all of his gardening stuff, and it was really loud. So then I was like, okay, I'm gonna go sit in the car. So sometimes we just have to go find a quiet place, and if we don't get too picky about where that is, we can generally find it. So today I would like to talk to you about all the ways in which brilliant women hide out. And last week I touched on one of those, which is the this before that strategy that we apply to bringing ourselves to our end user, to the community that we're really wanting to affect, that we actually need feedback from, that we really need to touch and reach out to, and risk rejection from. So the this before that, like I need, in the example that I gave last week, it's like, okay, I want to do this course, but I need a website first to host a landing page, and then, but I can't do the website because first I need pictures, and I don't want to get pictures done yet because I really want to lose weight, and it's just like all of these things in front of doing what it is that you actually have to do. And we do that in lots and lots of ways. So just I'd like you to notice and maybe write down something that you might be doing right now that's a this before that, that maybe you could just jump right over and do it anyway, even if it's uncomfortable or if it makes you feel like you're not ready or unprepared. So I don't have time to go through all of them. There's 6 major ways that we tend to hide out, that brilliant women hide out. We don't use some see-through strategy. We use these brilliant strategies that make us feel like we're in action and, living into our dream and doing what we said we were going to do. But in actuality, there are ways that keep us from really stepping out and facing the people or the community or the rejection or the feedback that we really need to do or to reach. So one of those I'm going to share is designing at the whiteboard. So what do I mean by designing at the whiteboard? I mean that we are brilliantly, in this case, doing everything that we said we were going to do, or making all these plans. We're maybe even writing about it. Maybe we're creating all the content. Whatever it is, we're diligently doing, stepping into action around what we say we want to do and create. But we're doing it in solitude for the most part. We're not involving the community that it's going to be serving eventually. We're not getting the feedback from them. We're not outing ourselves. We're not telling everybody else that this is what we're doing in case we don't follow through or that it's a failure or whatever it is. When we design at the whiteboard, we are generally doing it on our own, and we're not bringing all of these ideas out into community. And that's one way that we brilliantly hide out and not really stepping into visible action on our dreams. We're just doing all this work in hiding, per se. So what's another one? Overcomplicating and endless polishing. Yeah. So last year I did a business course where we had to, as part of our training, put on a speaker summit. And that meant creating a lot of videos. It meant reaching out to people that we really admired, our peers in the coaching field, or whoever was in the group, whatever they're doing. Perhaps it wasn't coaching, but they had to reach out to those people with zero experience, probably never shot a video in their life, never interviewed anyone before, and they had to then put that out in front of thousands of other people. And we got no prep whatsoever. We got no video training. We got no interview training. We didn't have any. We were not allowed to plan or endless polish anything. She was all about pushing you into doing it unprepared, so that you would learn to do it as you go, and then the next time it came around, it would just be, more polished and less complicated because you'd already done it. So that was her philosophy, to just push you into the most uncomfortable positions you'd ever been in your life and do the work without any polishing or planning. And prior to that, I had been a huge polisher and planner, and that really taught me a huge lesson. So I want you to think about maybe some ways that you are endlessly polishing and overcomplicating something that you could be just doing and learning as you go right now by taking it out in its infant stage the way that it is right now, no matter how bad or embarrassing that's going to be. And trust me, like that summit that I put on, looking back at it now is a little cringeworthy. Really, and these videos, probably in 10 years when I look back, I'm going to be like, oh my God, I can't believe I shot that from my car. but there's valuable learning in being able to move through that endless polishing and overcomplicating of what it is that we want to really, really be doing. So these are just 3 things that I want you to notice that you might be doing in your life that's stopping you from really stepping out with the thing that you want to bring to the world. And with that, here's another example. I just did an Epic Manifesto course, which had 450 women signed up to create a manifesto about their lives, for their lives, what they wanted to create and manifest and live into. And we all kind of think we know what that is, but when you sit down and answer some of those deeper questions about values and purpose and all the work that they did was quite phenomenal in that 4 weeks. And I wasn't prepared to do that course. I kind of thought about it 2 weeks before I actually did it. And if I had been endlessly planning and overcomplicating, I would still be working on, creating the content for that and whatever. And I really just knew in my heart that I knew all that stuff, that I had what it took to be able to get them from the beginning to the end. And so I just did it and learned with them what they needed as we went. And it was perfect. It was absolutely perfect just the way that it was. So with that, I wanted to share that I saw doing that for community and in a group was way more powerful, even more powerful perhaps than if I had just taught some of those people one-on-one to go through that process. And so through that, I noticed that, okay, I'm teaching my Epic Life Maps program to individuals, perhaps, especially given this group and the work that they did together, that being in a group would be so much more valuable. And so I promised them that I would deliver that course, the Epic Life Maps course, as a group course. So that's the next thing that I'm doing, and I would love if you would join me. And just to shed a little bit more light on that, I'll share what happened to me last year. So that course that I talked about, that online business course that made us, push into all these uncomfortable areas, before I took it, I had a lot of stuff going on in my head, like, time commitment, I'll have to be there every week and do all this homework, and then the cost was quite astronomical, and I was just like, all this stuff in my head, time commitment, money commitment, all the stuff that brought up in me, that if I invest this money in myself and this time in myself, then I'll have to show results, because my husband will be like, oh my gosh, you just made this huge investment in your business, and where's the, what are you getting from it? And, I had all this stuff going on in my head. And so I know when I speak to clients that they have all those things going on in their head too, and so it's an interesting realization to know when you're talking to somebody that they're thinking all of those things. Anyway, what I did was, instead of signing up for the course, I decided to get the CD version where you work on your own and you just listen to it in your own time and do the work by yourself. So that was kind of going back to the designing at the whiteboard. It was less of a time commitment. I didn't have to be accountable to anybody else. I didn't have to show up live in real time. And anyways, so long story short, I flunked. I absolutely did not follow through with that in-home course. I did a lot of the work, but then I just couldn't follow through with it. I didn't have the support community. I didn't have the structure. I didn't have the pressure of having to do it that week because the class was live. And so one thing rolled into another, and my work and life just kind of kept interrupting all that stuff, and I just didn't do it. So I don't know how many months later, 6 months rolled around again, and the course was coming up live. And so I thought, oh my gosh, I really flunked the last time, and I could see the value if I had followed through with it. So I ended up doing it live. And I'm going to say the difference from me showing up for myself, doing the work, really following through, was being in community. It was being in that group of women who were learning at the same time that I was learning, who were going through all the same fears, and doing all that stuff together really helped me stay committed to what I said I wanted to complete. And without it, I probably wouldn't have been able to do it. Well, I proved to myself that I didn't do it, So I just wanted to bring that up too, that if you're thinking about stepping into your dream, moving away from the whiteboard, bringing your, whatever it is that you're birthing into the world, to the world, then be surrounding yourself with a community of women who are doing that too, and everyone's learning together, and there's that support system, and just surrounding yourself with community who understands what it's like to do that is invaluable. Anyway, so I would love for you to respond to this email if you're interested in being one of the few participants in the Epic Life Maps group program. That'll be coming up, I want to say mid-October, seeing as I just now committed to doing it for everyone. I don't have a solid date, but that's probably going to be it after I get the feedback from you guys, probably around mid-October that it'll start. So, and the first 5 people that sign up get a 20% discount from it. So I would really love if you would just respond to this video via email, hit respond and say, yeah, I'm interested, please tell me more. And I will. Okay, so that's it. And I want you to just think about all ways in which you might be hiding out, and if being in a supportive community would help you to come out a little bit more. Okay, love you all. Bye.